I think my first version of the folding sword was already pretty cool, even though it had some slight performance issues. But I think for the second version, I can fix those. Oh, I did not expect that. Okay, so let's do a little recap so we're all on the same page. If you haven't watched the first video, I definitely can recommend that, so you know why I chose this design. But just to make the most important point, the first segment is not rigid enough. This right here is more like a friction folder, and the lock mechanism I designed here doesn't work as I had expected. So right now, you saw the test. So the biggest problem is figuring out how to make this thing rigid while still retaining all the function of folding it into each other and also having two sharp segments. Let's see. Okay, I've been sketching around for a couple of hours and I think I finally got the solution that I've been searching for, which is this right here. You can imagine this rod sliding in here would act exactly as this piece right here, bumping up against this right here, this step. You see? Because when we bend it back in this direction, this segment tries to push this piece of metal in that direction, basically against the hinge right here. We've got a pretty sturdy lock, holds up a lot. Don't have to worry about any weak points in the railing system because I was afraid that this part right here would take the brunt of the force. Okay, so let's try this out. Oh, would you look at these two? Like two pots in a pan. Wait, what? Okay, so here are the two segments. I actually did these before the SketchUp of the new design. I had something different in mind. So these are not exactly how we need them. I need to weld on the wedge segment that I need at the tip right here. And then we'll also have to weld on the guiding rail. To create the recess right here, where the rail will go, I cut out these two. Obviously this isn't a perfect solution. Ideally I would have took a full blank and then cut a slot in there, but let's see if this can work for the prototype. Okay, so I'm not sure if 1 millimeter thick is sturdy enough because you can see it wobbles around quite a lot, but yeah, let's see when it's finished and everything is in place. So here's the star of the show. This piece will go in here and this will basically hold the spine right here. Oh, whoops. Well, let's try this one. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to look. Hi amigos, all 60,000 subscribers of you out there on YouTube. How y'all doing? And now it's time for Big Cut, the show that pays my rent. Shucks howdy. Today's sponsor is NordVPN. NordVPN encrypts your traffic by rerouting your connection through one of their 5,000 servers in over 60 countries. They also allow you to protect up to 6 devices with a single subscription. And right now they're running a special offer. Grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/njord for a huge discount of your NordVPN plan, plus 4 extra months and an extra gift for free. It's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Well, gosh darn it, that's a great deal, right, Corvo? Yes. On top of rerouting your connection, they also keep you free from dangerous downloads with their threat protection feature. And it even works without being connected to a server. What's more to say? That's a great deal, partner. Once again, nordvpn.com/njord. Get a huge discount, 4 months for free and a bonus gift on top. And it's completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. So go out there and get it, buckaroos. Oh no. Okay, so here we have it. Got the rail. This part will go in here, like this. And then these 2 pins act as the contact points, so that this thing can move all the way to the front and then back again. The way this is going to work, we've got the first segment right here, and then we've got this thing moving forward, and then we've got something to lock the spine. As of right now, pushing this back, we would have a lot of force right here pushing against the guide rail up top, and I don't want that, so that is where this hook right here will come in. Okay, next step, weld this on, put in the bevels, and I think we'll actually start with connecting the system that pushes the rail forward and back. Alrighty, so now it's getting a little bit complicated, I think. I cleaned up this piece and also put a very steep hollow grind in there, so hopefully this time the edge will be a little bit sharper than last time. Now it's a little bit complicated because with this right here, I could just put in the... Sorry, flipping you off. With this right here, I could just put the hinge anywhere and then, you know, build the handle around that. But we've got the blade sitting like this, and then the spine lock has to go through here, but it also has to go all the way back into the handle, which means that the top part of the handle has to be exactly at the same height as the guiding rail right here, so that it moves freely. Which means it should be somewhere right here along this line. Okay, looking good. I've got the top part. Ah, look at this. Don't focus on me, camera. Absolutely perfect transition right here where my thumb is. We need to grind off a little bit right here, because right now it's hitting here. Since the first one turned out to be slightly like a kukri, if you remember, I had problems with quetching this, and now this one is even thinner, so I'm actually going to put both segments into each other because of the first segment in there. It hopefully won't bow as much. I gotta say, so far I'm pretty happy with how the prototype is going. I didn't have many problems. So yeah, that's very nice. I like working like this. I've never had something like that happen. I'm so glad that I always put on a face shield when doing this. No idea why that happened. I mean, it's not like this is the first time I quenched something. Maybe I dropped it too fast and that splashed up some oil and that ignited. Whew. So one tempering cycle is done and I think it helped a lot. It is slightly curved, goes like this. But it's not nearly as bad as it was with the first one. So I think sticking a piece of steel in there definitely helps. You can kind of see the curve more on the guiding rail, that there's a slight curve going like this. Let's see if this is an issue with the spine lock. But we fixed one issue. We've got another one. Can barely see it like this. This thing actually, this time, curved. It's not very apparent on the cutting edge. If you're looking at the spine right here, this is very, very curved. Let's see if the guiding rail still works. Oof. Whoops. That's not how it's supposed to look. You know what? Before I'll try anything fancy schmancy, I'll just hit it with a hammer. Maybe I can adjust the curve to fit the spine of the first segment. Okay, I think it'll work. So let's just clean it up and weld it together so we can do the fine adjusting. You know, just as I was about to finger weld, I thought about, might have seen at the beginning that I put a bearing in there. And obviously the plastic of the bearing probably doesn't really like the heat. So yeah, it smells horribly and I think I kind of messed this up. Oh yeah, this thing is fried. So I managed to grind it off and get it out there. You can see the ring that's stuck on there is the inside ring of the bearing. I think the rest just liquefied. Okay, there we are again. You're probably wondering about the shades, but let's just say I wouldn't recommend using the grind feature right here on your welding shades that prevent the auto darkening. Yeah, I feel like ever since I said that the project is going pretty well, the universe has been doing its best to flip me off. But you know what, universe? Screw you. I've got a job to do. So let's take a little break and have a look at what I've built so far. The first thing to notice that it's pretty interesting that I actually managed to make the new version look even shittier than the first version. So first version, the thing we've got right now. And there's plenty of problems with this, but I just wanted to build a rough prototype of what I had in mind now, and I'm glad I did because there are a couple of problems that I would have missed if I didn't build it all the way through. So this is basically how it was supposed to look when folded. When opening it, I made these too short, so I can't open it up all the way to actually get the segment out of here. A bit unfortunate, but I don't really care right now because we're going to do it again anyways. In order to get it out and properly show you the other problems, I gotta do it like this. Up, out, put back over there. Okay, just so we can... Usually it would be like this. It's moving. Now here's the first problem I've discovered. You can see this is supposed to go inside of this guardrail right here. So with this position all the way opened so that the first segment can slide out, it's already poking out too much to actually go in there. So I have to shorten this probably by half or something like that, which would also make the thing a lot sturdier. You can see already a problem that it doesn't have a whole lot of guidance, so it just kind of falls down, flops everywhere while this thing is opening. The spine lock gets pushed forward. And now when I close it again, if there would be so much friction, it was supposed to slide all the way to the front. Now here's a pretty dodgy part. There's not enough room, so we have to kind of somehow wiggle this thing through there. Let me just bend this out of the way. Then the spine lock goes like this. We close it back up. Slides all the way to the front. This piece right here, like in the first version, where we've got this holding, similar with this version, where the first segment gets held in place and can't move in that direction because of the piece of metal right here. But this looks pretty cool if it wouldn't look like trash, but you can imagine cleanly done. I think I know what to change, but still I want to give it a go to see how much of a difference we've got with these. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so the first version, not too impressive. Let's see what the new Frankenstein version can do. Oh. Okay, I did not expect that. All right, pretty nice. Let's see with a little bit of a sturdier target. This was not, okay, yeah, this broke already before testing. I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out, even with this flimsy piece right here that I can easily bend by hand without applying much force. That even with that, just the rigidity of this thing right here is enough to keep the spine lock in place. So we've got a pretty sturdy edge actually. One thing to note though, we've got a pretty big lever going. It actually bent the metal upwards right here. So I should go with some thicker metal for the handle. But yeah, I mean, for how this thing is looking, it worked surprisingly good. Let's try to make a proper version of this. I'm really liking the hammer finish on this. I think it'll be cool with what I've got planned as a decoration. You can see the slot where the spine lock will go through. The poor man's press. Time for some very precise and scientific methods of measuring. Should be around here. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm really liking tempering colors, especially with the hammer finish. I'm going to do something similar, but more of that later. So I've got this piece of stainless that is going to be our spine lock this time. And you can see, looking good, almost looks like a revolver. Maybe I should scrap this project and just put a handle on here. About to get demonetized for this. Righty, so I skipped over some parts because it was just the same thing as with the prototype, but this is where we are. Got everything fitted up nicely, and now also made some adjustments by putting a ramp into the tip segment so that you can't see it right now when it's in, but basically when the thing is in here and you put the spine lock in there. It has to come out a little bit, otherwise it bumps against the tip. So basically, if the segment isn't fully engaged, the ramp actually allows the spine lock to push the blade into the forward position. This is where I want to continue, because you can even see it with this one, that the tip can go from side to side, because there's just slight little bit of wiggle room. I can't get this better with my machinery. But I think I have an idea, because we've got the rod up here. I'm actually going to put a slight little groove in here into the spine of the tip segment, because then it will stay exactly where I put the corresponding groove into the spine lock.
Nah, screw stainless. We're going regular mild steel for this.
I have those fancy strap marks here. I'm always looking like I'm into some sort of questionable practices, you know, after taking this off. Where did I put it? Yeah, looking good. Gotta say, for my first hollow grind, it came out pretty nice. Pre-heat treatment finish, so I only took this to 80 grit just to show you what I actually did. Maybe you can see it on this one better. Yeah. Both segments are normalizing to get some of the stress out from welding. I'll try to do a partial quench, so just dip the edge in there to maybe get rid of all the problems we have with bending. We still got a slight bend. Maybe if I can get out of the... yeah. It's not too bad, but still has a slight bend. I was a bit worried because of the curvature at the spine that it wouldn't slide anymore, but there's still plenty of wiggle room. I will just have to deal with another curved sword, I guess. Ouch. Okay, yeah, we'll leave it like this. I think that's fine, honestly. I don't really mind the curvature. I think it looks kind of cool, even though it sounds like I'm high on copium right now. The biggest problem with the bend was always that once I, excuse me pin, thank you, once I put the first segment in there, it would stick up like this, and that's a problem with the whole handle assembly. But I mean, it's not really protruding much further than it was before. I got the first tempering cycle done, and as you can still see, we've got a bend going in that direction. So for the second temper, I'm going to do a shim temper. I can clamp it down to overcorrect the bend that I currently have, and then we'll put it back into the oven. Hopefully after 1 or 2 or how many cycles I need, the bend will be out of there. 6 temper cycles later, and this thing is now straight. Pretty much spent the whole Sunday working on this thing, but yeah, the 6 hours in the oven at least gave me some time to play some Helldivers, so I'll take it. But as it is with these projects, one problem is fixed and we've got another one. We've now got a gap right at the tip. If you can remember, before I actually left it so that there's actually a ramp going to accentuate it going in this direction, so that the tip of the spine lock actually pushes the segment further down, creating some tension right here. Yeah, now there's a huge gap. Big fun. Let's have a look how the fit up is. And oh, oh sweet Jesus, I love it. Fantastic. Okay. I can't see Seems like I'm really bad with that side. But I also don't really want to hit anything in here. Okay, you probably have guessed it. There's still problems with the folding function. The funny thing is, when I started the video, I was planning to make the high chaos version, which means that I'm focusing on a sturdy blade and yeah, compromising a little bit on the side of folding this in and out. I really was expecting this backlog mechanism to work a lot better with the folding than it actually is. Let's just go through it. So probably smartest to go back into the handle first. This is what the handle mode looks like. And you might have been wondering why I've built this almost like a trigger piece for my index finger. The idea was for this to work somewhat like a Winchester would. You know, where you can... Is it the Winchester? I have no idea. But you know that rifle where you can cock it by hitting the handle down, and then, you know, the cool people spin it around. That was my idea with this design. So we could also have the spin like in Dishonored. Let it fall down, segment comes out. This comes out as well. So it should be like this by pressing down the handle. But you can already see that instead of going forward, I'm actually having this thing push in that direction, pinching right here, so it doesn't really work. So you need to basically hold the back of this to have it go in there. Sadly, a lot less quick than I would have wished for it to be. You know, I was kind of expecting this outcome, which is why I wanted to make the high chaos version that focuses on you know, fighting, and the low chaos version that's basically like quick deploying and folding back up like the first version. So I gotta admit, this isn't really comfortable. About the reliability of this, you can see, I mean, this obviously isn't really made for chopping down boards, but just to see what would happen if you would parry a blade. The footprint of this when folded together is actually quite nice, I think. Not really suitable for quick deploy. I guess it's kind of like... You can just imagine Corvo sitting in a dark corner, rattling this thing for like 15 seconds to get his weapon out. Yeah, I really thought that this would be the last video I would be doing about the folding swords. But clearly I didn't really manage to finish everything that I had in mind. But I think I'll put this aside for a while just to, you know, get some other cool projects back in there. Wink, wink. So, as you have seen in the intro, I'm actually starting a Patreon now. These projects take forever. If you want to support me in my work, it's greatly appreciated, but you don't have to. Link to my Patreon is down below. To not just take your money and give something back, I thought that I'll actually do an after show after each of these videos. I'm actually going to upload the first episode on this video on my second channel tomorrow. Probably right here, right now. Or there? No, where is it? I'm such a professional. I think it's there. Otherwise, I'll just mirror the video.